Hello, I'm Joe, and in 2025, I started animating for the first time since I was in junior high. Ever since my senior year of high school, I've been wanting to pick it back up, but I've been way too scared to try. Leave it to me to overthink something that I really shouldn't be. It wasn't until my first animation class in college pushed me to make my first short film that I found it wasn't nearly as bad of a time as I thought it would be, and in fact, it was the most fun I have had with art in a long time. Learning animation again freed me. In the past year, I've finished 3 short films, 2 Multi-Animator Project parts, and 3 animation memes. To be honest, it's not nearly as much as I wanted to do, but I'm not giving myself too much slack for it, because college demands like 90% of my free time. That being said, the little amount I did finish absolutely fixed my relationship with art, and I have been so productive as an artist ever since I picked it up again. So this video is gonna be a little less organized than usual. I'm gonna talk about what animations I worked on throughout the year, my feelings about them, over some speed paints from the works I'll be talking about. Maybe hearing about it will inspire you to start animating, and in turn it'll help your art journey. I don't know. This totally isn't further animation propaganda from JoJosta. But before we dive into anything, I have to pay for my animation class. So let's hear a word from today's sponsor, Love in Deep Space. Love in Deep Space is a mobile romance game aiming to offer the most immersive and heartfelt romantic experience. The game includes 5 beautiful bachelors that you'll be able to meet through super well animated cutscenes. Each of the men have their own independent and unique personality, as well as their own separate storylines for you to get closer to them. In the new update releasing February 10th, all the main characters are reimagined as living in a wuxia-inspired fictional dynasty, with strong Eastern aesthetics, and oh, the characters and art direction are so pretty! The storylines in this update focus on the emotional intimacy and relationships between you and the boys, and players can unlock stories with these characters by getting memories of them through the multi-banner wish. My fellow gacha fiends, good luck getting your faves! Alongside the content of the men themselves, there's also going to be a Chinese-style restaurant minigame and an update to the house system that adds Chinese New Year-style furniture. So once you get done staring and fawning over your man, go cook some food and decorate that house. Use the link in the description to download the game and begin your romantic journey. Thank you so much to Love in Deep Space for sponsoring this video, and with that, let's get into my school animations. The thing that got me back into animation was my spring animation class, the first animation class of 2025. Going into it, I was excited, but also pretty nervous. I've been wanting to pick up the medium for so long, but at the same time, I've built up all of this pressure and like almost a prestige around animation that made the class feel kind of daunting. This is typical of me. I am very much a perfectionist whenever it comes to my art. I overthink a lot of things, and this is something I'm slowly having to unlearn. But whenever this class started, it was especially prevalent because my anxiety and mental health at the time was terrible. January 2025? Not a kind month to me. The thing about taking a class for animation, though, is that there is usually a strict time limit for everything you make. At the same time, and kind of paradoxically, animation is a very time-consuming medium. So the number one thing I had to learn early on with this class was that I was going to have to let go of my perfectionism and overthinking if I wanted to get literally any assignment done. There was no time to sit and think if a shot was okay or if the way a character moved looked as good as possible. I just had to do it and hope it looked fine. All that is to say is that the class slowly helped me overcome my perfectionism, which is really important. The first 2 assignments I did for this class were basic exercises on paper. I wouldn't really say I learned anything because I've done these before. They weren't my first rodeo. We did them on paper though, and I guess that was kind of cool. I've never animated traditionally before. The third assignment, however, was the short film I made this video on, and it was the assignment that finally pushed me and rocked me and overworked me, but like, in a good way. God. You can go watch that video for a complete story time on the process of making it, but the TLDR is that I had so much fun creating it, and I was so happy with the end result that it completely changed the way I approached art. I think the main thing that clicked in my head whenever I was making that short film was that I realized the medium was kind of perfect for me in a way. I love to draw, but I've never really enjoyed making fully rendered, complex illustrations. That's never who I've been. And for so long I told myself, man, like, I'm just not an artist that can finish things. I can make a finished illustration like once or twice a year, but I much prefer sketching and drawing without that pressure. Shame I don't like storyboarding though. Guess there's nothing I can do with this skill. Wrong! I was wrong! I started animating and I realized it's all sketches and simple coloring, and if I want to make the coloring more dynamic, I can just slap it in After Effects. I don't have to render anything by hand. Life is so beautiful. I went from making 2 to 4 finished illustrations a year, outside of the work I do for my YouTube content, to making multiple finished animations with backgrounds and pretty lighting, all just for fun. I'm not gonna toot my own horn too much and say I'm a great animator though. I still have a whole lot to learn, but making this short film just let me sit and appreciate where I was with my art instead of longing for something else, and I've been needing that for the longest time. Like, I cannot overstate how important that is for every artist. We tend to be our own worst critics, but finding something that lets you appreciate your own skill feels so liberating. As for the other assignments in this class, they weren't nearly as groundbreaking, but I still got something out of them. One of them was a very simple After Effects assignment where we had to animate PNGs with different tools in the program, with the main focus being on the puppet and parenting tool. This was good knowledge to have when I eventually wanted to make an animation meme. I was taking notes. And the last project we had was a 2D stop-motion animation, which, quite frankly, I didn't put a lot of effort into, but I still think it came out charming. I used it as background practice, and I think the backgrounds came out good. I think it's good. Overall, my spring 2025 animation class was a fantastic introduction back into the medium. I think it also helped that my professor and my classmates were very relaxed and very friendly, so it kind of eased any anxiety I had over trying the medium. My college experience overall has been far from perfect, but most of the memories I have from this class are just good. I don't know, they make me happy. My next animation class, however, which was my fall animation class in 2025, I feel like I can't even compare this one. I want to say that this class wasn't terrible. I liked my professor a lot, and my classmates were pretty much the same as my first animation class. The main difference here is that instead of focusing on 2D work, I would say about 3/4 of the classwork here was focused on 3D. And I learned I absolutely fucking hate 3D. I knew before the class that I for sure wasn't a fan of it, but this class, it confirmed it. I'm at a point where I think I understand how to do most of it, but no part of me enjoys it, and working on it actively makes me want to cry. Which is very much unlike the 2D short film I made at the beginning of this class, so I'm gonna talk about that instead. To my surprise, the first assignment in this class was a colored 2D animation project. I think the theme for it was Hero's Journey, but that's so vague you can really do anything with it. The idea I ended up going with was 2 college students trying and failing to get free food. The film is called 2 Free Sandwiches Please, and it's another 1-minute short film I had 20 days to make. You can count on me to overwork myself for fun. But this one, admittedly, was a little less fun. When I made my first short film in the spring, I planned it out really well because I fully considered the time frame I had to make it. I only designed 2 characters and had the whole film take place in one room. I purposefully repeated shots so I wouldn't have to draw too many backgrounds. And the only movements I gave my characters were very tiny, very easy to animate. Whereas, with this film, I designed 3 characters, had it take place in 3 different settings, I only repeated 4 out of the 16 backgrounds I had to draw, and the movements, while still relatively simple, were a lot more expressive. And the cherry on top is that, and I was being stupid here, I was working on an animation meme for the first couple days of this time frame, so I didn't even fully utilize the 20 days I had. I'm usually so good at my time management, but I had to pull an all-nighter to get this finished. I easily bit off more than I could chew here, and I think it shows in the quality, but I don't know, I'm still pretty proud of it, ? The character designs I made are pretty simple, but I still think they're really cute. I got attached to the main characters, Rita and Harris, and I really want to repurpose them for something one day. I've actually pulled certain traits from them and translated them onto characters for my main story, Collateral. And I'm not usually that good at backgrounds, but I found myself having fun with them for once. I decided pretty early on that this animation would take place in Chicago, so the way I got a lot of my background references and inspiration, especially for all of the exterior in the city and like the interior of the Subway restaurant, was going on Google Maps and grabbing photos of apartment buildings and restaurants. I also really enjoyed drawing and designing Harris's bedroom. It's not nearly as detailed as I would have wanted, but I don't know, it's fun to think about how a character would design the place they live in. Putting myself in a character's shoes is something I need to do way more as a writer and designer. It feels so obvious, but I don't think about doing it that much. I also had a lot more fun writing this film. Granted, both of the ones I've talked about so far are about 1 minute long, and there's only so much you can do in 1 minute, but for this film, I tried writing comedy, which I've never done before. And I think it's funny. The jokes land. That's not to say it's anything groundbreaking, but like, I admire a lot of comedians, and I think people who can write effective comedy are so cool and so smart, so it felt really neat to make something silly and funny of my own. Like, during the project critique for this film, there was one point where everyone in the room laughed at a joke I put in, and God, oh, I felt on top of the world. I feel like this short film wasn't about rediscovering I love animation, as much as it was about appreciating everything else that went into the process. Animation is so much work, but it's so fun. There was technically one more short film I made for this class, but I don't have much to say about it. It was an assignment to make a 30-second minimum animation that had a 3D character and 2D backgrounds. Mine turned out fine. I made the background music for it. I thought the character I came up with was cute. I had a lot of fun compositing the animation. Otherwise, pain. One may say doing 3D feels torturous. I love the finished product, the process was just a blur. Finals week is not for the weak. If you're interested in seeing either of the school short films I talked about, they'll be linked in the description. They're going to be unlisted. I don't really want to post these on my channel, like for everyone to see, but they're there if you want to. Hey Joe, didn't you say something about you making animation memes and maps? Yes, I want to talk about those now. If school was the spark that got me back into animating, then animation memes and multi-animator projects were the fire that came from them. Oh my god, I love the online animation community. I know it has its detractors, but from someone who interacts with it usually just as a consumer, it is so inspiring and fun. I was a D1 hater of short-form content for a couple years before 2025, but now I have embraced it just because there are so many talented people making banger after banger just for YouTube Shorts or TikTok. I didn't go into this year thinking I would make any animation memes. I knew they had gotten big again on TikTok, but I had stopped using the app in 2023 and hadn't really seen any on my Instagram or YouTube feeds. That is, until the summer of 2025, whenever my algorithm finally decided to feed me some of that content. And oh boy. I got a wave of nostalgia and FOMO. God, clenching my fist, I wanted to make some memes of my own. The first one I made this year was this Heather's head bobbing meme to a section of the song Big Fun. You probably know the one. Back in 2017, me and my friends were very deep into the musical animatic trenches. My friends loved a variety of musicals, but I really only liked Heather's, and my little 13-year-old brain thought I was Veronica Sawyer. So whenever I saw this Heather's meme by Milk in a Bowl in the year of our Lord 2025, something in my brain went, hey, Joe, you have to make that now. So I did. It was my first time using After Effects for an animation meme, and I realized how much I love After Effects. I hate that it's owned by Adobe, but it's so easy to do complex things on here compared to node-based programs. Those do not work with my brain right now. As of right now, this animation meme is also my most viewed video ever. It has over 1 million views on YouTube, which is kind of hard to wrap my head around. I feel like it's easier to gain views on shorts, so I shouldn't be that happy, but I don't know. It's so cool that people enjoy this silly work I make. I'm grateful for all the support it's gotten. The second animation meme I made was this Please Pretty Baby Oingo Boingo meme, and it was also the meme that made me procrastinate on my second 2D short film. Whoops! Not much to say about this one, but it does feature two of my OCs, Rosa and Odine. I love them so much. They're married, very healthy Yuri. I just wanted to make something for them. The animation itself is nothing complex, it's just some tiny After Effects tweening, but I had a lot of fun with it. Rosa and Odine are characters I created for Collateral in 2025, and though I'm not sure where they fit into the story currently, I still really like them and their dynamics, so I want to do something with them one day. Third animation meme. Just Be Competent 11 Stranger Things. I rewatched Stranger Things in preparation for Season 5's release, and I found out that 11 is actually my daughter, and I love her a lot! This video will be releasing a couple weeks after the Conformity Gate conspiracy stuff, but oh my god, I wish it was real just so Elle could have gotten a better ending. Season 5 did her so dirty. Rewatching the show made me want to make something for Elle, and I thought Sydney Gish's song Imposter Syndrome really fit her, so it only made sense that this is how I participate in that meme. Unlike the other two memes I've made, I used frame-by-frame animation in this one. I wanted to draw her making the same movement in two of her designs, which meant I would have to animate two different cycles. So I made an animation base that captured the basic movement I wanted to replicate, and then using that base, I animated both of the designs. This was also the first time this year I shaded my animation a little bit in Procreate. Usually I just add some vague lighting and shadows in After Effects, but I was using a more detailed style and I thought adding some shading before adding it into AE would be beneficial, and I really think it was. I love the style that I drew these in. And now, let me talk about my map parts. The first map I participated in was actually a reanimate of It's Over, Isn't It? From Steven Universe. I don't have much to say about the process of this one. It was very easy. I chose the shot I got because it was one of the only shots in the music video that featured all three characters involved. It also didn't really have any complex movements, so that comforted me a little. I'm always down to draw something easy and fun. I came up with my own design differences for Pearl, Greg, and Steven. I made Pearl's colors closer to her pilot palette. For Greg, I made his face more detailed and his hair just a little bit more curly and luscious. And Steven, I didn't really change. I just did like some minor adjustments to make him fit in my style more. After I had all of my designs, all I had to do was copy the part I was given. That's it. Not much more to it, but I'm still pretty happy with how it came out. Not only being the first map I've participated in a long time, it was my first ever reanimate project that I was a part of, and I felt so honored to be a part of it. Thank you so much to the host for letting me in. It'll be linked in the description for you to watch if you haven't seen it already. Everyone in it is so freaking talented. Speaking of talented people, did you guys know I hosted my first Multi-Animator project last year? The Hayao Konde Multi-Fandom Multi-Animator project? And it was so freaking fun. I think I'm gonna make a separate video about hosting a map because, this video is already longer than I thought it was gonna be. So I'm just gonna talk about the process of my part. I struggled with my part, I'm not gonna lie. I restarted it not once, not twice, but 3 times, all with completely different fandoms and transitions. My earlier drafts included Common Side Effects, Severance, and Nichijou, but I ended up having Fullmetal Alchemist, Frieren, Ponyo, Stranger Things, Smiling Friends, and Tamagotchi, which was a lot more than I expected to have. I feel like I usually go into my animations with a clear end goal in mind, but with this one, I kind of just winged it. I did most of my part right after I had finished my second animation class, and my brain was so fried, but I still put a lot of effort into it. I was actually one of the last people to do their parts for my map, so I think seeing everyone else's work that had been done already was just motivating me to get mine done and be proud of what I had. Like I said, I'm probably gonna make another video about my map, but I cannot overstate how talented and how amazing everyone who worked in it is. If you haven't seen it already, it'll be linked in the description. Be sure to go watch it and check out everyone who participated, because it's awesome and amazing. And that's it. That's all the animations I did in 2025, not including the whips that never got finished. Did you make any animations in 2025? Are you feeling motivated going into the new year? Are you maybe perhaps wanting to learn animation in the new year? If so, let me know in the comments below. I've been feeling quite motivated myself. If you want to see more content from me, obviously I have a bunch of other YouTube videos up right now, but I've also been very active on my Instagram lately. As I'm writing this, I'm currently hosting a figure drawing challenge for January, and it's been so cool seeing everyone's work for it. And lastly, thank you so much to my patrons. For the low price of $2 a month, you get access to everything I post, including works in progress for my videos, early access to my finished animations, as well as art I don't post anywhere else. And $10 members get all of that and their names right at the end of my videos. Thank you to Mac, Cookie Cutter, Josh. As always, your support helps make these videos possible. Little outro ramble here. This video was supposed to release at the end of January, and it just got pushed back. Whatever, that's fine. But as I'm recording this audio right now, when I say I am in the deepest pits of art school, I mean it. Junior year. Oh my, junior year is not for the weak. It is not for the weak. Oh my gosh. Thank you all so much for supporting me throughout 2025. If you discovered my channel in 2025, thank you for sticking around. I hope you're enjoying what you're seeing. I plan on participating in more maps and making more animation memes, and I'm really tired and I'm gonna go to sleep. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye!